Hello guys, thank you all for once again joining in. Firstly, I welcome you all to Amazon Labs. In today's session, we are going to speak a lot about the launchpad to success on Amazon. See guys, selling on Amazon, it's just like, baking a cake, right? So you need to make sure that you are adding equal proportions or required proportion of your resources or quantities in order to make sure you have a better output, right? So in this session, in today's topic, I'm going to break down all the key aspects of selling on Amazon into four subdivisions or four steps, right? Your first step is your preparation, your second step is your launch, your third step is review of your launch, and your fourth step is your ranking, right? So if you are able to handle these four steps with expertise, I am telling you, no one can stop you, right? So you will just dominate and crush the market. Well, so let's look into each of these steps. Now, what does our first step say? It says preparation, right? Now, before launching a product, you need to prepare, you need to have a plan, right? So without preparation, you will not go anywhere, right? You need to have some direction, right? So what is your budget, right? Which marketplace are you looking at, right? So what is your timeline? By when would you want to achieve your goal, right? So what is the skill set required? What is the action required? Are you working on those actions on a regular basis or not? So these are all your preparations. Now, before working on your product, your preparation actually starts in your mind, right? Firstly, you need to set your mindset right? So you need to be creative, you need to be competitive to be able to handle a much larger business, right? So if you're not making money on Amazon, it's only because you're not competent to do so. If that is the case, upskill yourself, right? Don't wait for some magic to happen. Upskill yourself, invest yourself in your knowledge, and then gain your knowledge, build your expertise, and then kill it in market. Well, so now when I speak about preparation, right, the first step will be your product research. I should say your product can make or break your business, right? So if you have a good product, right, so it's like, it automatically sells actually, right? If you have a good product in a good market, if it is well differentiated from your competitors, if it is adding more value to your customers, if it is competitively priced, there should not be any reason why a customer would not buy or should not buy, right? So doing a good product research is very important, right? It is the topmost skill when it comes to selling on Amazon. Now when I say product research, you need to have a good product, and there should also be a decent or significant demand in the market. Not only that, you also need to see if there are any seasonal aspects. You also need to see if there is a consistency in sale over a period of time, right? So if that is the case, there are a couple of validation checkpoints. So you need to make sure you're not skipping on any of those validation checkpoints, and that is the only way you can minimize your risk of failure, right? In business, nobody can assure you success, but we can definitely minimize your risks of failures. Now, there are a couple of very important checkpoints when it comes to product research. When you follow these checkpoints, of course, you can reduce your chances of failure. The second foremost thing, right, it is your sourcing. Once you find a product, it is very important that you source a good product from your suppliers, right? Sourcing also involves, you also need to look into your margins. You also need to check your net profitability, right? If you have a good product, that is not enough, right? So your goal is not just to sell, your goal is to make money, your goal is to make a profit, right? So if you are getting into market where there are already players, who are into price war, don't get into such markets. Don't get into markets where there is not much of a price variation, right? So it is very important that you source quality products from your suppliers, and also these products should have a good or a healthy net profit margin, right? So you need to pick products which have got a minimum 35% of net profit margin, right? And then comes your keyword research, right? So you have your good product, and then you source this product from your supplier, and then you need to work towards building your product listing, right? So at this point in time, make use of your software tools, get to see the data, see which keywords are doing well for your competitors. Just identify your top 10 competitors, identify your bestseller, put these asins in your cerebro, right? Then run your reverse ASIN search, sort your data by search volume, identify the ones or keywords or search terms that are highly relevant to your product, right? So make a list of such products, make a list of such keywords, and then blend all those keywords, and then create a very compelling and very beautiful listing, right? And then when I speak about listing, you should be focusing a lot on your title and your backend search, and also your images and your bullets. So these are all few key components, and you also need to make sure that you have some A plus content, right? You want to promote your product as a brand, right? So these are all very important, making sure that you've got a very good product listing. So this is a very important aspect. And then once you have your product on Amazon, once you have a once you have a product listing, once you have your product on Amazon, it's very important for you to get your reviews. It's very important for you to get at least 3 to 10 reviews or 5 to 10 reviews. Why? Because you are working or you're preparing yourself to launch. When you launch, it is always beneficial, it is always good to have at least few reviews. When I say few reviews, you need to have at least 3 to 10 reviews or 5 to 10 reviews. Do not miss out on that, do not neglect this, right? Likewise, do not also wait for it, right? When you have your product on Amazon, do not wait for it. So all these things or all these activities should happen simultaneously, right? Now the second step, once you're done with your first step, then you will have to move on to your second step, which is your launch phase. Remember guys, launch phase is not where you make a lot of money or you make a lot of profit. That is not at all the purpose of launching a product. Launch phase should be considered as your investment to gather data, right? Now so far in preparation stage, you are relying so much upon software tools to get data, right? But during launch phase, you're going to put those keywords or search terms to test, right? So you're going to test those keywords in your launch phase, and you're going to gather as much data as possible. Now during your launch phase, it is very important that you pick all your best performing keywords and run exact match campaigns. You need to run high bid exact match campaigns. Now why you're doing that? It is to make sure your products are visible to your target audience or to your target customers. Now when your products are available to your or visible to your customers, they will be able to click, they will be able to buy, right? So here your goal is not to sell, here your goal is to see, understand the patterns, right? Analyze the data, see which keywords are converting well for you, for which keywords you have got a very good CTR, right? So is your listing attractive? So this is what you're going to do. You're going to invest in your launch phase to gather data. Now what kind of data are you going to gather? Is your listing attractive at the first place? You may feel that you have got a very beautiful listing, but your customers may say your listing is a crap, right? So how would you validate that? You would validate by looking at your CTR. Your CTR will tell you whether your listing is attractive or not from end customer standpoint, not from your standpoint. Likewise, you also need to assess how competitive is your listing, right? You may feel that you're doing the best, you're selling the best that is available in the market, but that is your perspective. What are your customers saying? If so many people are entering your listing, if no one is buying it, then technically it means that your competitors are offering better value than you. That is why your customers are not buying your product, right? So when you have a high CTR and also high CVR, which means your product is attractive and also competitive, that is why people are buying your product. As simple as that, right? So as a part of your launch, you're going to gather data on your listing attractiveness, your listing competitiveness. What is your goal of this launch, right? During your launch phase, you will also get some confidence as in whether to go for your next order or not, right? At your, I mean, your launch phase, it could be like your test order. When I speak about test order, you could be getting 300 units or 500 units or 700 units. This is more kind of a test. Now when you're during your launch, you will get to you will be able to sense whether this product is working or not. So you should also simultaneously have a plan for reordering your next batch. Right now, by the end of your launch, right, your launch phase could run for or last for, could be 10 days or 15 days. You should have handful of reviews. You started with 5 or 10 reviews. By the time you finish your launch phase, it is very important to have at least 20 to 30 reviews, right? Now this is super important. Now you have two main purposes of launch. Number one, you want to gather data, right? You want to gather data on your listing attractiveness and your competitiveness, and then you're also going to gather your reviews, right? And you also have some visibility, or some, you will be able to develop some level of confidence in terms of whether it is working or not, should I order a next batch or not. So you need to work on this. And then comes your review phase, right? So there is also one more aspect here. It says proven keywords. Of course, as a part of your launch process, you will get to see which keywords are doing well, which keywords are not doing well, where is that you have got the highest CTR, where is that you have got the highest CVR. Now this is something which we discussed at length in my previous videos. If you have missed on those sessions, please do go back and watch. I mean, that is like a masterclass. I'm sure you will not find any of those videos on YouTube. Right. So then moving on to review. Fine. As a part of your launch, you have done a lot of work. You have put in a lot of money for last 7 days, 15 days. Now you are going to evaluate your data. Right. Now by the end of this evaluation, you are going to decide whether to go ahead or not to go ahead or drop off. Right. So see, your product, of course, when you do your research and all, you get associated with a product. You feel like this is my product, but you also need to be logical sometimes. If you're doing everything possible, and if your product is not doing well, right, as a part of your evaluation checks, if you get to see your product is a disaster, you should have the courage to let it go. As simple as that. You cannot hang to it, right? Now let's see. As a part of review stage, I'm going to evaluate my data. I'm going to see, fine, I've got 30 reviews. Where am I standing in terms of my quality? Right? How are my customers rating me? Right? What is my return rate? Right? And then what is my CTR? What is my CVR? Right? So if my quality is bad, I will see if there is a scope for me to improve on it. Right? If I'll see if I can do something and help or work with my supplier and do something here. Technically, you should not be selling a product of bad quality. If you are selling a product which is of bad quality, so technically it means that you failed to do your sampling exercise properly. If you do not check your samples properly, how do you expect a quality product to be sold, or supplied, right? So but after doing all the checks, sometimes you may get to view products where the quality is poor. So if that is the case, you need to assess this important parameter: is your product of good quality or not than that of your competitors? The second one, how is your CTR? How is your CVR? If your CTR is less than 0.5%, if there are no keywords where your CTR is greater than 0.5%, then technically it means your listing is not attractive. If your listing is not attractive, why it is not attractive? Are your images very bad, or is your pricing so high, or your value proposition is not good? Something is wrong. So that is what your CTR says. CTR says your customers are viewing your product, but they are not opening your listing. So they are having a session, right, but they are not having any page view, right? So you need to assess this parameter. I'm going to assess my quality as a part of evaluation. I'm going to assess my CTR and CVR, and third important aspect, I'm also going to look at my profit. I'm also going to look into my pricing, right? Let's say after launching my product, all my competitors, they reduce the price, and there is no further scope for me to increase the price and maintain healthy profit margins. then I will also not think about reordering, right? I want to get into markets where there is also a good or a decent profit margin. If there are no margins, I will not sell. We are not doing any charity here, right? So these are the three parameters that you need to look for. One is your quality, one is your CTR, CVR, your profit, right? So these three are your evaluation checkpoints. If your product doesn't qualify all these 3 points, then you should not go ahead, right? If your product qualifies all these 3 points, you should move ahead with your next order, right? So as a part of evaluation, I'm checking whether I should go ahead with my second batch or not, right? So by the time, let's say if you're launching 500 units, or if you started with 500 units, by the time you finish your launch, you could be done with maybe 30%, right? So let's assume you're done with 150 units, you are left with another 350 units, right, in your stock, right? So 350 units is very low, so you need to work towards reordering your next batch. Basis your performance in your launch, you will have some level confidence, and then you will look at this data, and then you will have more confidence to launch your next batch, right? And then let's assume we qualify our evaluation. The next and foremost thing is looking into my search term, right? Now I'm going to look into my data, do all my crunching and chopping exercise. Now what am I going to do is I am looking for search terms or keywords which have got more than 5 sales, which have got a CTR of greater than 1%, which have got a CVR of greater than 20% or 15%. All right, so these are few parameters that I generally look for. I will make a list of all these keywords, and then the first thing is I will optimize my listing, right? Now when I say optimize my listing, I will once again, so at the beginning you optimized, you built your as a part of launch, but now I have my data from launch. Now I want to optimize my listing once again after 15 or 20 days before ranking, right? Before building any ranking plan, you need to make sure your listing is well optimized. With whatever proven data I have from here, I will optimize my title, I will optimize my backend search, I will optimize my bullet points, I will also optimize upon my images, I will optimize my everything possible to make sure my listing is well prepared or ready for a ranking campaign, right? Now fine, let's assume by the time you reach step 3, let's assume you have handful of 3 or 4 keywords, long tail keywords, where you have got a very good CTR, very good CVR, very good number of sales as a part of your launch. Now you need to rank. Now why you need to rank? Your goal is to get organic sales, right? You cannot live on advertisements forever. You need to identify proven keywords, and then immediately you need to rank. Sooner the rank is the better, right? So whichever keywords have done well, you need to have a ranking plan, right? So in this example, we got 500 units at the beginning, you are done with 150 units as a part of launch, you're left with another 350 units. If you are ranking for so many keywords, you will not have any stock, right? Once again, running out of stock is a disaster, right? Now you need to be little smart. You need to look for long tail keywords where there is not so much search volume, because if you really run after those keywords, you will end up giving away so many units as a part of your ranking plan. So here what I'm trying to say is, as a part of ranking process, you need to look for keywords, and you also need to be smart enough, put these keywords on helium 10 magnet, see what is the CPR, right? Cost per revenue, and then plan it optimally. Look into your inventories and see how much can you afford, how many keywords can you rank with available amount of inventory or stock, right? And then start ranking for these keywords. When you rank for these keywords, you should be on organic placement or position number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4, right? So your goal is to be there on the top, so that you are able to attract free sales, or you are able to attract organic sales or sales without running any advertisements. So as a part of your launch, soon after your launch, you should also run a ranking campaign. Now how would you run a ranking campaign? You will run a ranking campaign by By how? By influencing couple of sales. You need to make sure there are sales for this specific keywords. Now how do I get sales for a specific keyword? Number one is, the best way is make the traffic that is available on Amazon. Discount your product, offer 30, 40, 50% off, and then aggressively bid for this specific search term or keyword. Run your sponsored product campaigns, run your sponsored display campaigns, run your sponsored brand campaigns or video campaigns on this specific search term or keyword. Gain all the attention possible for next 7 days or 8 days in order to make sure you are improving your rank for a specific search term. Now once you rank, right, so by the time you finish your ranking, you should also have organic sales. Your very idea or purpose of ranking for a specific keyword is to get organic sales, right? So if you're getting organic sales, which is cool, right? So you're done with your one keyword, move on to your next keyword, rank for your second keyword, rank for your third keyword, fourth keyword, fifth keyword. Just rinse and repeat the process. Cool. So this is the exact step-by-step process that you need to follow in order to scale or build a product or a brand on Amazon. So it's a very important process. Now it is very important that you do not miss out of any of these steps. Each of these steps are really, really, really critical, and if you miss out on any one of them, you will not make any money. As simple as that, right? So this is all we have for today's session. I hope you like this video. If that is the case, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and also join my next video. Thank you all for this time, appreciating it. Have a great day, and see you in my next video. Thank you.